right, girls. I heard that you were starting your intentional dating journey to be in a fully committed, serious relationship, maybe wanting to gravitate towards marriage. I know I do for sure. You want that wife life, you want a fulfilling long-term partnership and relationship that really fuels your soul. You're over the situationships and the casual hookups, the casual relationships. We don't do that here. Well, let me help you on your journey. Welcome, welcome. My name is Isabel, and welcome back to the Up and About podcast, where we talk about all things mindset, wellness, self-love, relationships for ambitious women. It's Love Month, and so this February we're going to be discussing self-love, relationships, becoming a high-value woman. So if that's your vibe, come subscribe and join our community. We're on all platforms. This is such an important topic, and I'm so excited to be talking about intentional dating, long-term relationships, marriage, and all of that good stuff. I really wish that I had this information when I was in my early 20s, and I wish that I could tell myself what I know now. I've been with the man of my dreams since I was 20 years old. So it's been 6 years. I met him when we were both students at university, and he completely changed my world. He brings out my feminine energy. I receive princess treatment every single day. He's my home. He makes me feel so safe. He's really set the standard for love and generosity and purpose and legacy, not only in my mindset, but also in my friends' mindsets and my family's mindsets. He is beyond anything I could have ever imagined. I feel so fully loved, and we've grown up so much together. We went from university students to living the life of our dreams currently, fulfilling our purpose, doing careers that we both love in our dream apartment, in our dream city. I could talk on and on about him. Just know that amazing men do exist out there for you, and the right man will truly invest so fully in you. It'll open your heart. It'll open your mind. A good man and good partner elevates you in every way possible. Emotionally, spiritually, economically, internally, externally. And deep and pure love truly exists, and I really hope that for you, and I hope that you find the man of your dreams this year or as soon as possible. So my philosophy when it comes to dating is you attract the man of your dreams by becoming the woman of your dreams. This takes a lot of inner work. It takes a lot of self-esteem, planning and being certain of what your future looks like, and knowing how to communicate all of this directly. Let's start with intentional dating. So before you even start dating, you need to know who you are. You need to know where you've been, where you're at now, and where you're going. Having that direction, having that vision, having that purpose in your life allows you to be in alignment with another person and another life partner who has the exact same direction and goals as you. We need to keep in mind that the only thing we really have control over is ourselves. So we need to keep ourselves accountable for the partner that we choose, the relationships and treatment that we allow, and the inner work that needs to be done in order to be able to do this properly. Introspection and reflection is really the key to be able to do this. That is really what intentional dating is about. Ask yourself the questions: what kind of life do I want to build? What does my future and career goals look like? At what age do I want a family? Do I believe in a family? How many children do I want? What kind of lifestyle do I want to live? What city do I want to live in? How much money do I anticipate I'll be making during that period of time? If I want children by 35, at what age do I want to get married in order to do that? If I want 2 or 3 children, at what age do I want that to happen? This is important to note so you can work backwards. For example, if you want to get married by 30 to have a kid by 31 and have a second kid at 33, you'd probably need to be in a relationship at least 1 year or 2 years to really get to know and be certain about your life partner, which means you'd need to be in a relationship by 28, so you'll probably be dating at 27. For women, timelines are so important because we have biological clocks, and so working backwards and knowing whether or not you want a family is so important. There are so many factors that you'd want to consider when planning this, especially because in North America, the average kid costs around $300,000 from 0 to 18 years old. Better yet, if you do want another kid, in addition to being married, in addition to buying a house, in addition to these big milestones and expenses resources that are probably going to be accumulated over the years, which means when you're doing the math, a lot of family planning needs to be worked out in your early to mid-20s. This is so important to know because the older you get, the half-life of your eggs depreciates, and this is something that I wish that I knew in my early 20s. A lot of women kind of put this on the back end and think, hey, I'll deal with this later. I need to find my life partner first. But I read this really important book called The Defining Decade by a psychologist. Her name is Dr. Meg Jay, and she makes the case that family planning should be done in your early 20s because the peak of a woman's career crosses over with the peak of her fertility. And so choosing to have a family requires sacrifice in making a certain amount of money, and planning that area of your life takes years. This is super important to consider when you do start dating, because if you're a family woman, girl, you need alignment with a man that knows that that is exactly what he wants as well, and having the same mission, vision, goals drives the relationship. Or if you are a woman that doesn't want children, then having that intentionality and being able to communicate that, especially at the beginning, is so important and will prevent you from wasting your time and energy and conflicts and the potential problems that might come down the road. Unfortunately, I know a lot of couples in my life who have been together for years but never discussed the idea of having kids or having a family 2, 3, 4 years into the relationship. And so one person mentions that they do want to have children and one person doesn't want to have children, and they end up breaking up because that is one of their non-negotiables. And maybe if they talked about that before the relationship, there would have been a different outcome. So that is what I mean by intentionality, is knowing your future, where you're going, what you want in life, what's important to you, knowing your core values, knowing your long-term plan, and intentionally dating to find a long-term partner that has the exact same motives and drive and vision as you do. All right, preparing yourself for serious dating. Are you the woman of your dreams? Are you somebody that you hold really high standards to? Would you date yourself? Before we look outwards and find a partner, we need to look inwards first. Again, it's that accountability. We need to start with ourselves, the person that we can control. And this starts with a lot of self-reflection. If you've had a previous relationship, what lessons did you learn about that relationship so that you won't repeat the same mistakes? What did you learn about yourself that you want to carry on moving forward? What did you learn about the relationship that you don't want or do want in the future? Here's some self-reflection questions to ask. What are my non-negotiable values that I want my partner to respect? How important is my career or my ambition, and how does this align with my partner's goals? What are my expectations for communication and conflict resolution in a relationship? How do I define trust, and what behaviors from a partner would I expect in order to strengthen or weaken that trust? What balance of independence or interdependence do I need in a relationship? How do my past relationships shape my current and also future relationships? In what ways do I need to grow before I am ready for a long-term commitment and partnership? What habits or qualities in a partner make me feel loved and also appreciated? And you can find this out by taking a quiz or reading the book, The 5 Love Languages. It's great for that. How do I envision sharing my everyday responsibilities with my partner in various aspects of life? What role do my family and friends play in my life, and how do I want my partner to fit into that picture? Now, I know you are an ambitious girl, and if you are a content creator or entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm going to talk about next, and that is really knowing your audience. Knowing your audience applies to dating. What problems can you solve for him? Where do you think he would be? For example, is he the kind of man that will spend hours at a library or at a coffee shop? Is he the kind of man that is social and would go to events, and maybe that is a space that you can meet him there? Do you know his needs? Do you know his wants? If you are in the dating market, especially for a high value man, this is really important to know. It's one thing to set standards for yourself, and that is amazing, and we will talk about that soon, but it's also another to know the standards that your potential man might have for you. I know you're an ambitious woman, and your man is also going to be very ambitious. So what do you think his problems are in the everyday life that you can solve that maybe another woman won't consider? Because that will make you stand out, is considering how you can also add value to his life, the way that he knows that he'll add value to yours. A high value man is typically looking for a woman who is empowered and embraces her feminine energy, peace of mind, trusting him to take the lead, contributing to his success and building with him. But not necessarily financially or in a career-driven way, but really building his home, building his legacy, building his safe space, being a woman that he can come home to and relax around. When he leaves his house, the everyday pressures of the world are on his back, and coming home to you, you make him feel warm and loved and safe. Maybe we can do a full episode on that and that alone, because it's a huge topic. And high value dating is a whole different world than regular dating. All right, so self-awareness, self-love, self-esteem. I just made a video on how to master self-love, because dating requires filling your own cup first. Setting high standards means having really high self-esteem, not only for your man, but for yourself, girl. These are the things you have to consider when choosing to date somebody. What are their core values? Does he have emotional intelligence and self-awareness? Do you feel respected right away? Can he really communicate with you? Is he open-minded? Can he have intellectual conversations? Can he talk about his feelings? Can he have tough and uncomfortable conversations with you when necessary? Can he love you the way that you receive love? Is he self-aware about his weaknesses, and does he work on them regularly? What about personal growth? What is he doing or learning or reading or actively working on to become a better version of himself every day, the way that you are? Does he treat you well? Is he chivalrous? Does he open the doors for you? Is he a gentleman? Look at his track record. Has he had previous long-term relationships? Does he have a track record of being committed to long-term goals and ideals? What about the devotion in his life? Is he spiritual? Is he a family man? Does he have character and the courage to be able to commit to not only him, but in other aspects of his life? Does he show examples of trust and honesty daily? Does he have a long-term plan and vision for himself? These are great starters to vet a man, but also not just him, but for you. Do you have that for yourself too? Because if you see this for yourself, you know for sure if a man sets these precedences, you can experience that. You know what that feels like. High value men and good men, unfortunately, are almost rare. They're hard to find. The good thing is that they do exist though. But when dating, specifically with high value dating, as a woman, learn to be more assertive, learn to be more competitive. The percentage of really good men, specifically high value men, is super, super small. Learn to be okay with rejection. Be okay with asking him out first if you think that he's worth it. If he meets those standards and you want that man, girl, don't be afraid to ask him out. I've always advocated for that. That's how I got my man. I saw him and I was like, oh, I really want to get to know him. I want to ask him out. I want to lock that man down. Like, I know for a fact that there are other women that desire him and want him, but they lack that courage and competitiveness to really put in the work. When you find an amazing and fantastic man, and you know that this man has potential to not only be your husband, but maybe the father of your children one day, because he shows those characteristics and he shows great character, girl, lock him down, okay? I cannot stress that enough. Don't be afraid to lock him down if you know that's your man. And not gonna lie, during this, sometimes you'll feel rejected, sometimes you will be rejected, but be okay with that. The best part about dating is that it is a mirror, and it really shows you what you're capable of, what you're looking for, who you are, who you can be. Dating should be fun. Have fun with it. It's all about self-exploration and feeling that feminine and playful energy. That's what makes you magnetic. Another tip I have is to really get rid of your icks. Like, I know a lot of us women have these little check boxes that we expect from a man. If we don't like his texting style, it can give us the ick. Or maybe he's 1 inch shorter than you expected him to be. Or maybe you reject a man because he seems too boring, but he's really nice and nerdy. Girl, I want you to get rid of that, because that is self-sabotage. Give him a chance, because these standards, quote unquote, aren't real, but what is real is the connection you have, the core values he has, the shared long-term vision that both of you align with. all these small little icks that he gives you, just get rid of them and go on that date if he's somebody that really captivates you. So when it comes to your own self-growth, self-acceptance, self-love, self-esteem, this will continuously be a work in progress, whether you're in a relationship or not. You need to unlearn that conditioned behavior of having a bad attitude, of talking back. If you're somebody that's been in toxic relationships or situationships, learning how to really heal and grow from that experience and not bringing that experience into your new relationship. You need to unlearn accepting the bare minimum. Okay, we're done with that. Good morning texts, him texting you back right away, girl, that is the bare minimum. Him getting you flowers, him picking you up for a date, him planning a date. I'm sorry, girl, but that is also the bare minimum, okay? We are grown and we also deserve better, especially if we're the kind of women that are extremely generous and know that we can give more than that in a relationship. Another thing you need to let go of is the casual relationships, the situationships, the casual sex. Not only are these experiences painful and a lot of women regret them 99% of the time, but you really waste your time, your energy, when you could be using that time and energy really finding true love and putting in that work inward and also finding your partner. One thing I would love women to know is that your worth does not equal how much money you make. Your worth as a woman comes from your kindness, your generosity, your ability to love, your feminine energy, your beauty, inward and outward. We do talk about this on the Mastering Self-Love video, so I will add that in the link in the bio. But letting go of masculine behavior and masculine beliefs, letting go of masculine energy, and embracing your feminine energy is extremely powerful. And as women, we tend to fall and embrace our masculine energy more because it's not only necessary, but it also helps us when we are in survival mode. Part of self-development and self-growth and self-love is to really learn how to communicate, learning how to receive help, learning how to receive love, trusting a good man, trusting him to lead you, lead your relationship, learning how to serve him, learning how to honor him and respect his opinion as your man. And I know all of these things are new things that I had to learn in order to be in a really loving relationship, especially after coming out of a long-term relationship that was extremely turbulent. If you're somebody that has had turbulent or toxic relationships and don't know what healthy love looks like, it has a lot of behaviors that you need to unlearn, and also behaviors and beliefs that you do need to learn and do need to see examples of. All right, so that was preparing yourself for serious dating and starting that journey. Let's talk about the actual dating process. So we mentioned this before, but girl, have fun. Dating you teaches so much about yourself, so much about your worldview. It teaches you how to be a better partner, how to be a better lover, how to be a better communicator. It shows you the things that you need to work on as a woman. It shows you your own boundaries. It shows you what you're okay with, what you're not okay with, your long-term goals, your long-term plans. All of these need to be considered for yourself in order to maintain and have a long-term relationship. And so it's exciting to think about those things because dating, it's like a mirror, you know, you see these things that you yourself need to work on, your own weaknesses, and also your own strengths. And that's super exciting. If you're using a dating app, I would say to get off the app as fast as possible. It's so annoying waiting for somebody to text you back. And also there are so many problems with texts. You can misinterpret them. You can read them in different tones of voices. Screen him ASAP. Like, get on a call with him as soon as you can, or even better, get on FaceTime with him as soon as you can to really feel out the vibe before you go on a date. Think of it as like a job interview. You know, you have that 10-15 minute screening before the real interview, before you decide, oh, hey, like I vibe with this person. I don't want to waste my time and my energy to go out on this date if we don't vibe at first. I don't know what this person's like, if they're texting and their personality is different. Get off the apps ASAP and make sure that you get to see his personality and also showcase your personality, girl. You are magnetic. Don't be afraid to talk to people, especially if you're on an app, because that's just a numbers game, honestly. If you are not on an app, again, knowing your audience is it. Maybe you'll find him at an event. Maybe you are just a woman who's incredibly passionate about arts or workshops, or you're just doing your thing, because typically that's how I find that women meet their partners organically, is that they're just living very full lives and they have a lot of hobbies and they have a lot of interests and they go to fun events and they meet the man of their dreams there because they have that same interest, they have that same passion. And so going to community events, workshops, retreats, I highly recommend going on a lot of solo dates and really just finding what you love, self-explore. This is also a part of my Mastering Self-Love video, but chances are you will find your partner doing something you are extremely passionate about. Before you go on a date, express your intentions and boundaries and expectations early on. Like, my friends make this mistake all the time. They wait 3 dates to express these things, but girl, do all of that before you even go on a date. When you're screening him, when you're texting him, when you're FaceTiming him before you go on that date, express that ASAP so you do not waste his time and you don't waste your time, because you know exactly what you're looking for and you're telling him exactly what you're looking for. And if it aligns, then it aligns. If that is your man, he will align with you. So don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to not waste your time and to set those boundaries ASAP. Because how would he know if you don't tell him? You can do this in a vulnerable and honest way where you're definitely not scolding him, but just have a conversation about it. What are you looking for? I don't do casual relationships. I don't do situationships. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm only dating to be in a serious relationship. I'm only dating to marry. I was raised in a culture where men are providers and women are responsible for the upbringing of the kids. What about you? How were you raised? What are your expectations on gender roles and the nuclear family? Is a family something you want? Is a family something you're working towards? These are such important questions to ask before the first date, and it sets a standard and expectation that you are a woman of substance and you know exactly what you want. The truth is, love is not enough to be in a long-term partnership. There are so many aspects of being in a marriage or long-term relationship that needs to be talked about and needs to be known up front. Girl, you got this. You are beautiful. You're confident. You are magnetic. You know who you are. Dating should be fun and easy breezy and just have an amazing time, honestly. Know that intentional dating starts with you knowing yourself, living a very fulfilled and full life on your own already to attract a man and a partner who has that exact same vision, future, values, standards, taking accountability for the choices that you make, the man that you choose, the relationships you allow. All of that is extremely important. Know that you're the only person that you can control. And in order to have a successful dating life, you need to communicate that. You need to be direct. Remember that your self-work and self-development and self-esteem, this is something you are always going to be working on. Whether you're in a relationship or not, it is a priority. So be clear on the life you want to live, the purpose you have for yourself. I'm super curious to see how your dating journey goes. So please connect with me on our community at Up About Podcast or my personal at Isabel at YZOBEL. I hope this episode helped you a lot. We are on all streaming platforms for this podcast. Have fun, have an amazing time. I believe in you. I hope you find your mans, and I will see you next week. Bye.